Hello, I'm Suzanne Yates of Wellmother, and today we're going to do some exercises for 3 of the extraordinary vessels, which are the conception, the penetrating and the governing vessel. The Ren Mai, the Du Mai is the governing, and the Chong Mai is the penetrating. And the focus of this is midline energy. So these extraordinary vessels share connections with the brain, the reproductive organs which we access by connecting just along the pubic bone, and kidney, which is actually the energetic kidney points of Ming men, so the lumbar area. And with a penetrating vessel, there's a connection with the heart as well. So these are internal connections that are going to be common to all of the exercises. The external pathways emerge at the perineum, so we are going to be focusing on the perineum as we do some of these exercises, and there's a midline energy that rises up the front of the body to the mouth, and this is the conception vessel. It rises, but there's also a descending movement. It rises up and it comes back down. They're quite complex, the pathways, but this is the pathway from the perineum to the mouth, and that's the conception vessel, or the Ren Mai. And each side of the conception vessel is the penetrating vessel. So it's half a thumb width in the abdomen and it spreads out in the breast. So we have a lot of connections with the chest, the breasts, and it's coming up through the throat and it goes around the mouth. Penetrating vessel also has a connection through the perineum up to Ming men, governing vessel 4. So it's sharing that connection with governing vessel. So governing vessel arises from the perineum and goes all the way through the spine, the neck, over the top of the head, between the eyes and to the mouth, and meeting with conception and penetrating. Penetrating also has a branch, it's more complex, from the centre down the inside of the legs, and it comes to the inside of the foot, the sole of the foot, and that's the penetrating vessel, the anchoring aspect. But also conception vessel and governing vessel have links, both into the hands. So conception vessel has a link with lung 7 is its regulating point. Governing vessel has a connection with small intestine 3, and penetrating vessel has a link with heart protector 6. So the hands, we're going to be focusing a bit on the hands and the connection out through lung and heart protector. They also have connections, all of them, down into the foot, sole of the foot, kidney 1 point. This is a very important point we're going to be focusing on for all of them, but especially penetrating vessel, and then governing vessel and conception vessel. The heel, just below the ankle, are important points, kidney 6 and bladder 62. So now we're going to start with focusing on the centre. This is very important for the perineum and for the abdominal muscles, and indeed for the lower back, that we think of the centre like a basin, and that the Ming men point, which is governing vessel 4, between the 2nd and 3rd lumbar vertebrae, is nice and soft and relaxed. We don't want to be tilting forward. That will compress the vertebrae and make us tighten here. So what we want to do to enable this to be nice and open is to focus on our coccyx, and imagine that we have a silk thread just gently pulling down on the coccyx, our tailbone, and attaching us to the ground. And so we have an anchor from the centre down to the ground. At the other end of the spine, at the top of the head, just in front of the crown of the head, is an important point relating to governing vessel. It's the most yang point in the body. So we can also imagine a silk thread attaching here, going right up to the sky. So our whole spine is lengthened. And as we lengthen our spine, the front of our body should also lengthen. And it's important that as we do this, we're not using our gluteal muscles, our buttocks. We want to feel it's really coming from the centre. So just stand for a moment and feel this connection, anchoring to the earth, anchoring to the heaven, and really feel the midline energy in your body, front and back, and everything else softening around it. So really check your shoulders are relaxed, your hips are relaxed, and your feet are firmly anchored to the ground through kidney 1. So in fact, through your feet, you can feel everything going deeper into the earth, that we're extending beyond the sole of our foot into the earth beneath us, and also from the top of our head, extending into the space above us. And it can be helpful to close your eyes to do this. And now to focus on your breathing can be quite helpful. So just placing your hands below your navel and just breathing out, feeling your abdominal muscles drawing in, being aware of your pelvic floor muscles drawing up. And then on the in-breath, feeling the lengthening of the spine a little bit more and creating some space here. So on the out-breath, drawing in with the abdominal muscles and the pelvic floor. On the in-breath, feeling a lengthening all the way through the midline. And so now, with the simplest is to just gently soften your knees and curl over, bending your knees and letting your head, neck and shoulders relax. Softening your hands, softening your head. This is a little bit like going into our fetal position, where the governing vessel is now on the outside, protecting the conception vessel and penetrating vessel on the inside. Really soften your brain and your head, soften your shoulders. Feel now the connection to the earth, and breathing slowly and deeply. And then, when you feel ready, really take your time to uncurl from the base of the spine, slowly, slowly uncurling from the bottom to the top. And last of all, uncurling the head so you come into that alignment that I just described. And you're breathing slowly and deeply. And you may want to have your eyes open. And you can repeat that a few times, really taking as long as you need to curl down and curl up.